When talking about using show versus tell in the college application essay, there are a few important things to keep in mind. Last class, we talked about starting off your essay with an anecdote or a short personal story that will pull your reader in. A lot of college essays will be revolving around this anecdote, using this short story, this private personal experience to indicate to your reader what you've learned about yourself and how it connects to things on a broader scale. You want the college admission counselor to gain a view of what kind of person you are. Rather than telling them every single part of it, you want to show them through your description and writing the kind of person that you are. Our focus today is on examining how show versus tell is used in the anecdote and looking to see how show versus tell can be used in the rest of the essay as well. Our game plan is that on the next slide, I am going to be going through the first 2 paragraphs of a sample essay that you will be reading in its entirety during class today. And we'll be looking at those first 2 paragraphs to see how our author sort of weaves together that show versus tell element. Okay, so let me click here. Okay, so this application essay was an essay that was submitted to Johns Hopkins University. The applicant was accepted. This individual speaks in their essay about overcoming confidence issues as well as a speech impediment through becoming involved in the school's debate club and also becoming a mentor of sorts to younger kids who were also dealing with some similar issues. So I'm actually going to go ahead and read and annotate this in OneNote. That way it's easier for me to mark up. So right now I'm going to go into OneNote, the Content Library Writer's Notebook, Show versus Tell sample. And you'll see that this sample is actually already in here. So you'll see all the annotations after I complete it. Okay, so let's go ahead and read these 2 paragraphs. I looked up and flinched slightly. There were at least 60 of them, far more than expected. I had 30 weeks to teach them the basics of public speaking. Gritting my teeth, I split my small group of tutors among the crowd and sat down for an impromptu workshop with the 8th graders. They were inexperienced, monotone, and quiet. In other words, they reminded me of myself. I was born with a speech impediment that weakened my mouth muscles. My speech was garbled and incomprehensible. Understandably, I grew up quiet. I tried my best to blend in and give the impression I was silent by choice. I joined no clubs in primary school, instead preferring isolation. It took 6 years of tongue twisters and complicated mouth contortions in special education classes for me to produce the 44 sounds of the English language. So you'll see in this sample that there actually are some elements of tell that our author uses to provide the reader with some context. If we look at paragraph 1, though, this is where we do see that element of show really shining through. I'm going to just go in with my highlighter and we're going to look at this together. So automatically as a reader, the first line that grabs my attention is I looked up and flinched slightly. Looking at the person's word choice here, flinched is a powerful word. It indicates that the author is talking about, let me just move this over here. The author is talking about an experience that was uncomfortable. Okay, so this makes this essay already, that's a typo, already more personal and also vulnerable. Okay, we see that the person is really talking about their struggles over here. Okay. Let me just erase that. Green. Okay, great. Then we keep on going. There were at least 60 of them. Okay, so a little bit of detail, right? The person is giving us numbers, numerical, good. far more than expected. I had 30 weeks to teach them the basics of public speaking. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this part in yellow. You'll see that in this part, I had 30 weeks to teach them the basics of public speaking. That's actually an element of tell. Sometimes, especially in a college application essay, we are going to need that tell element, and we use it to explain context to our reader. Okay, what do they need to know in order to understand our experience? Okay, if you're talking about something that's unique to Livingston High School, something unique to your family or to your culture, that's when you can use tell to briefly indicate to your reader, hey, this is what I'm talking about. Going back with my green highlighter for that element of show. We have gritting my teeth. Again, we're seeing that element of discomfort. I split my small group of tutors among the crowd and sat down for an impromptu workshop with the 8th graders. Small, impromptu. We have adjectives here. They were inexperienced, monotone, and quiet. 3 adjectives are being used there. And then this final line, in other words, they reminded me of myself. As a reader, now I have the question, how did they remind you of yourself? You're the one running this workshop. And then we look at the second paragraph, and here is where we do see again that element of tell, right? They're explaining the context to the reader. I was born with a speech impediment that weakened my mouth muscles. My speech was garbled and incomprehensible. Again, so this is actually some detail that we're using here, adjectives. Understandably, I grew up quiet. I tried my best to blend in and give the impression I was silent by choice. I joined no clubs in primary school, instead preferring isolation. It took 6 years of tongue twisters and complicated mouth contortions in special education classes for me to produce the 44 sounds of the English language. So rather than just writing, I was able to overcome this through special education classes. This person provides detail. They use time, 6 years of tongue twisters and complicated mouth contortions, 44 sounds of the English language. So really when you're thinking about show, that's the other side over here, you want to think about providing as much detail as possible. This can be done through adjectives, sensory detail, figurative language, all that fun stuff. Okay? And keep in mind, guys, that this is only one sample. You'll see that show versus tell is going to vary in regards to how each is used depending on the topic. So returning back to our PowerPoint. Okay. Your task now is you have 2. So task 1 is you're going to read and annotate the rest of this college application essay located in OneNote for elements of show versus tell. This is the rest of the sample after the 2 paragraphs that we just read. Really think here, how does the author show what is happening throughout the whole essay? Your second task is to construct an anecdotal narrative opening that uses show and not tell. You can copy and paste your May Writer's Notebook number 1 and revise, or select a new topic from your Learning About You handout. And then in this entry, you're going to highlight elements of show in your writing. Okay, so that is your tasks for today. After you've completed these 2 tasks, you can go ahead and submit the exit ticket. The exit ticket should be completed at the end of class today, and both of these assignments should be completed by tonight. If you would like to have more time for the writer's notebook and submit it next class, email me to let me know, but other than that, I will be checking these to ensure that they have been completed.